Hey guys, my name is Vaness and I'm the founder of Notary to Notary, the online nationwide notary training company. But before all of that, I'm a mom. And in this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can balance that parenting, home life, and building a successful six-figure business at the same time. So we're going to be talking about my top 5 tips or techniques that I use to make sure I stay zen and I can still balance managing being a mother and managing my companies at the same time. Let's get into it. So you guys know my story. I started off as a notary in 2014, and my main mission for doing it was that I wanted to be able to be that soccer mom that, I attended all of my daughter's dance recitals and soccer games and made the healthiest meals and was just that super awesome mom, the one we see on TV. That was my goal. For the record, I don't even think that mom exists, and if she does exist, I want to know how she's keeping her head all the way together, especially if you're trying to do this and run a company at the same time. However, that was my goal. And from 2014 until now, I will say I have learned so much when it comes to parenting and running successful companies. And so I'm going to give you my top 5 tips that I would recommend you start today to really help you have a good work-life, home, parenting life balance, okay? So my first tip is going to be set clear expectations. And it might seem very simple, but I promise you it's not. So setting clear expectations basically means that I know what I want. So as a mom, what do I want my parenting to look like? What kind of parent do I want to be? And so I'll write down, I want to be loving, supportive. I want to be, I want to educate my kids, but I really write down the kind of mom that I want to be. Secondly, I go to my children and I ask, what kind of mom do you want me to be? What are you looking for? And a really cool tip that I read in a book, I forget the book. Oh, Slay Like a Mother. And I'm going to put the link in the description below. But one of the things the book told you to ask was to ask your children, what is one way that I make you feel loved? And you would think as parents, trust me, ask them. I thought it would be, I don't know, a bunch of things. It really wasn't. Most of the answers was you play with me and you tell me you love me and you give me huggies. And it was simple stuff. It was the small answers. And that's all they needed. You make good food or you feed us and then you play with us and then you talk to us, and we have these super high expectations for what we feel like. We feel like if we don't get our kids into Harvard, right, we were not good parents. And our kids are not even looking like that, right? And so you want to set clear expectations. So first decide what kind of mom you want to be. Then ask your kids, what kind of mom do they want? And then also when you're building out your schedule, ask your kids what kind of day they're looking for. A lot of kids just like to play. And if you can kind of incorporate play with learning, you're in there. My number 2 tip is going to be to set a schedule. So one thing that I do, and I may not be the best at it, but I live by my Google Calendar. And I try my best to do my schedule at least a week out. Sometimes I can only do 1 or 2 days, but I try my best. Now, I'll have a month calendar for my business, but when it comes to my personal life, I try to make sure that I'm at least scheduled out the whole day for a week. And so I'm able to plot in all my meetings, all of my signings, all of my Zoom calls, things like that. But I also plot in my children. So you might think it's silly, but I put in time to, okay, playtime. We're going to the park. We might go to the museum. We might do this. But I plug that stuff in because what gets measured gets managed, right? And so it's really easy for you to say, oh, that's okay. They can wait. I'm going to go do this, right? Because it's not on your schedule. And so once you put on your schedule, it's okay, this is a priority. So create a schedule that works. So you want to have a good balance. Also, schedule yourself in there. I schedule consistently self-care. And so that may be getting my hair done, nails done, massages. Honey, I love massages. Shout out to Massage Envy. Okay, there are other massages places that I go to too, but I love massages. Why? It allows me to disconnect for 90 minutes and just be me. And that's really important because a lot of times we are mommy, right? And so to go back to just me, giving me that space and that time to just be quiet, no phones allowed, right? So really determining what your schedule is going to look like, and make sure when you're done, you have all of your priorities scheduled in there. So when you set your schedule out for a week, it allows you to say, okay, I said I was going to work out. You know, I need to eat healthy, so I'm scheduling the meals here. I'm planning my meals. You know, for me, I know that we tend to eat poorly when I don't plan. It's like, I didn't plan the meals. It's 7 o'clock. The kids are like, I'm starving. And they just ate an hour ago, but it's cool. And I'm like, okay, DoorDash. Okay, so planning in advance will help you to get all of your priorities scheduled, and you'll have a more organized time of it. Now, yes, sometimes things come up and it may be a little chaotic, but I promise you having a schedule will help it to be less chaotic. My number 3 tip is actually something that I've gotten very good at, and it's using all of your time, right? And you kind of have to be creative with it. So for example, I may take my kids to Chuck E. Cheese or like a jump house place, and I will use that time to work. And I may, you know, I'll get my socks to go jump, but part of that time is working, part of the time is jumping. So I'm able to put the two together, you know, and I use all of my time. So think about times when you're just standing in line, or if you're waiting for something, or let's say you're taking your kid to a doctor's appointment, right? And you don't have to really do anything. You can use that time to send out emails, or if you're on social media, schedule posts. You can use that time to maybe return some phone calls. And so you just have to be aware of all of your time and where you have gaps where you could be doing something different. Like I am famous for, if I'm standing in a line, I'm never just standing. You know, people get in a line and they get really frustrated. They're like, oh my gosh, this line is so long. I don't look at it like that. I say, okay, this line is long, but while I'm in this line, I'm responding to emails, or I'm, you know, responding to comments, or whatever the case is. I'm clearing out my voicemail, right? So any one of you guys that have a voicemail that's full right now, you can do that while you're standing in the line, okay? Clearing out my voicemail. I'm just really aware of my time. And I like to make sure that there's no dead space, unless, of course, I'm going to get a massage. Then we can relax. But outside of that, I use all of my time as best as I can. So my number 4 tip kind of goes along with my number 3, but it's a little different. So this is something that I had to teach myself over time. I use my children's downtime. So, and I had to get into that habit. So like early in the morning. So typically I get up at 4 a.m. Now you don't have to get up at 4, maybe you get up at 5 or 6, but as long as you're up before your kids are up. Before I didn't do that. I would get up and then get them up, and I promise you it did not run as smoothly as it runs now. So like when I get up at 4 a.m., it allows me to get myself together. So I have a rule. I don't look at my phone for the first hour. So between 4 and 5, I don't look at my phone. This is my time to just be with me, okay? And then from 5 to 6, I may, you know, go, I don't know, meditate, exercise, get a smoothie, all that good stuff. But then I'll probably like hop online and start doing emails, things like that. But I use that morning time between like 4 and 7 to work on me and then work on my business. And then also the same thing applies in the evening. So if my kids are napping, or if they're, when they go to sleep, let's say they go to bed at 9, I can typically stay up from between like 9, like 11:30 before I get tired, but that's time where I can then, okay, get more work done. And I try to do the work that I can't do during the day. So for example, I can't record videos while I'm standing in line at the grocery store, or I can't record videos when, you know, I'm at Jumpology. So I do the tasks that I know I can't do during the day. So I may do recording, or let's say anything that you feel like, or any like serious brain tasks where you really have to have quiet, like if you're writing a book or if you're creating content, anything like that, I will do those tasks at that time. I also may do the scheduling of emails. So like, you know, throughout the day, you may want to send emails to title company signers or any of your clients. And so I can do those at that time too. So I do, and I always pick like in the morning, I pick my harder tasks, like the ones that are really intense, that'll make the biggest difference in my company. I'll do those first. And at night, I tend to get a little more sleepy, so I'll do the easier stuff, like scheduling the emails. Those are a little bit easier for me, and I can do that without even thinking about it. So during the day, although I'm still working, most of the time during the day, it's the calls that I'm doing. So the phone calls, the Zoom calls, things like that, actually going out to appointments, that's that kind of stuff. But things where I have to actually turn my brain on, sit down and work, that's going to happen in the early morning or late at night when I have no distractions. So trying to put group like tasks together, and then seeing where can I get this task done the most and it'll be most effective. So like for me, I'm on social media. I can do social media responses all day on my phone. So this is a during the day task. I don't typically use my early morning and late at night to just do social media, because I can do that very well throughout the day. But I can't sit down, for example, and record this video during the day. You know what I mean? As simple as it could be, if I do it early morning and later at night. So kind of group like tasks and figure out the best spaces to put them in and use that downtime. My last tip, and honestly it's probably the best tip that I've ever gotten, is be kind to yourself. We all have this, like, read the book, Slay Like a Mother. We all have this super, like, esoteric, like, vision of what a mom is supposed to be, and the reality is there is no definition of a mom. As long as your kids are being taken care of, they have food, they have a place to live, you love them, to the best of your ability, you are providing the best that you can. That's all that is really required. And the one thing I say is, like, look at your parents. We all can, like, poke holes at our parents. They could have did this, they could have did that, but look how you turned out. I think you turned out pretty okay, didn't you? Right? And you're probably thinking, well, I'm doing a lot better. So imagine how much better your kids are going to come out, right? And so we have to stop setting, and it's nothing wrong with setting, goals for parenting, but we have to be kind to ourselves and not beat ourselves up. And that's something that we're kind of like, it's kind of impressed on us that you have to be this super awesome, amazing, parent. But one of my favorite quotes comes from Sadhguru, and he says, you don't raise children, you raise cattle. And once you free yourself from the idea that you have to make them be exactly like, whatever that image is, it allows them to be free themselves, and it allows you to be you, because the reality is, before you had children, you were you. Before I was a mom, I was Vanessa. And guess what? I'm still Vanessa, right? And so there are things that I still want to do in life. And there's flaws that I had as Vanessa that I still have as a mom. And so we have to give ourselves that space. I think we think that once you become a parent, everything has to be perfect. Like, all the flaws you had before have to go away. You can't be tardy. You can't do this. You have to clean your house, do the laundry, teach your kids. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just really unrealistic, and so it's okay to, excel and meet those goals, but just be kind to yourself if you don't. Give yourself space to make mistakes. Give yourself space to be you, and give your kids space to be them. And then we all work together and make this thing the best piece of pie we can come up with, right? And so when it comes to balancing parenting with your business, you have, especially in this business, in the notary space, I think the main thing is to decide what kind of parent do you want to be, and then how does your business align with that? So for me, I know I don't like sitting down at a computer all day. So in regards to notary, I don't really pour all of my energy into remote online notary, because that's not me. It's not my personality type. I like to be out and about and doing things. So general notary work is my go-to. General notary work, loan closing is my go-to. I like Ron. It's convenient. There are pros to it, but I know it doesn't work with my lifestyle, right? So I don't fill my schedule with Ron because it doesn't work with my lifestyle, but it may work for you. Maybe you need to be at home. Maybe you have, a child that has to be in the house or things like that. And then you need to be at home and be able to take care of them and things like that. And maybe driving around being mobile doesn't work with your lifestyle. That's okay. And that's why we decide what kind of business we want to have and how we want it to operate. And then we set a goal for how we want our family to operate. And then we make the two fit together. Okay, so it has to work together. That is the whole thing. You want to have clear goals for your family, clear goals for your business, and they have to line up and they have to work together. And once you can write that down and see that vision clearly, then it's easier for you to execute on it every day. And you'll be able to know what will fit and what won't fit. Like, how will this work, how this won't work, okay? So I hope these tips helped you. It definitely took me some time to balance working my own business and being a mom. And so doing those two things together, now I think I got a good handle on it. And I'm a homeschool mom too, which makes it even more fun. And it definitely causes me to think outside the box and be more creative. But also the biggest thing is be kind to yourself. There are some days where we're just not doing schoolwork today because Mommy said no, I need a minute. And that's okay, because I'm kind to myself. I don't have these ridiculous, extreme expectations. I give myself space to be me, because yes, society has these little blocks they want us to fit in, but at the end of the day, I'm just me. So I'm going to do the best that I can do, and I think that's going to be just fine. So I hope this video helped you in regards to figuring out a good work-life balance as well as parenting. And if you need more tips when it comes to building a notary business or just having a better work-life balance, definitely reach out to me at notarytonotary.com. And until next time, happy signing.